big news out of Atos. Kade and Tye got promoted to brown belt from purple. Incredibly young phenoms under Andre Galvao. Before we go further, how closely have you followed these two?
So it's interestingly enough, when I went out to Atos to train, I guess it was about 2.5 years ago now. My buddy is a black belt, who's a black belt with under my instructor, Matt Arroyo. He moved to San Diego, ended up training at Atos. So I go out there and train with him at Atos every once in a while. So about 2.5 years ago, I saw the twins. I think they were blue belts at the time, training and watching them train. I think they were probably like 14. And Gorilla, is his name, Anthony, came up to me and was like, those guys are the future. Like, they're the studs. They're the best. Like, they're amazing. I never got to roll with them, but I was like, oh, cool. And in the back of my mind, I was like, I kind of those kids. And then I was at the ADCC trials, I think the following year in Jersey, the ones previous, and I watched them like tear through the field. I think Tye ended up placing. I don't think he won the trials, but I think he placed. He ended up getting an invite. And it was just amazing to watch them at 15 years old being able to hang with the highest levels. They're phenoms, absolute complete phenoms, and they're so athletically gifted. They have those long, lean arms, and it's really fun to watch them go at it.
And I think the first time I'd ever heard of them, and this is my bad, just because I think I was asleep at the wheel, was when I think it was Tye that faced Nicky Ryan. That I think it was maybe Polaris or something. It was it was Polaris, and he absolutely dominated. I thought, and I was just like, because Nicky, completely appropriately, by the way, is built up as this phenom, this young prodigy, and he absolutely is. But to see a guy in his age range able to absolutely take it to him, it was it made me so happy.
He beat Wagner Rocha in a fight to win match. Like a 15-year-old kid beat Wagner Rocha, probably one of the greatest jiu-jitsu competitors in a straight winner type mode, competitive mode. Like, I don't think there's too many out there that are as good as Wagner. And he beats Wagner Rocha. It's amazing.
I mean, Wagner before Mason, he definitely put up one of the more impressive showings against Craig. Definitely worked to shut down a lot of his game, made Craig stand, which is something we don't really see him do a lot. And to see, but there's always this worry that the next generation isn't going to be as impressive, there's going to be a dilution. But to see guys like these and everybody perform at such a high level at such a young age, it makes me so happy, just because that means we're going to enjoy jiu-jitsu of such an esteemed level for years. What I want to know is, do you think that they're being promoted to brown belt despite their age is appropriate?
I mean, this is the way I always say this. This is what I always defer back to when we hear things like that. Andre Galvao gave them their brown belt. So are you or me going to tell Andre Galvao that he's wrong?
Exactly. No, and I am only saying that just because whenever young people in this age, like when Nicky or Grace Gundrum, very famously, got promoted to brown and black belt, there was a lot of uproar from the more traditional people over their age, and hey, this isn't how it works. They haven't done enough, and it's right. They could, if you can walk into a random gym and own the black belt that's in charge of that gym. I'm not saying competitors, but just some some lower level black belt. I think you should have a black belt.
I agree with you too. And it's funny. It's funny that you say that, because the more and more I read up on the actual history of jiu-jitsu as opposed to the perceived understanding of what we know about the history of jiu-jitsu, i.e. I am halfway through Opening Close Guard by Robert Drysdale. You finished the whole thing.
By the way, I just finished it, and that will be it.
We're amazing. When I finish reading it, which I'm going to bear through it this weekend, so we can have him on and do a breakdown of it. But the point is the more I start to read through the history of jiu-jitsu and how jiu-jitsu actually formed, the more and more I realize that people pretty much did what they wanted to do. And like, regardless of whatever perceived notion of time limit and time frames we did that the IBJJF and before that, I think it was the CBJJF came up with to try to make things into an actual perceivable metrics. Like, you know, guys did whatever they wanted to do. Like, I know for a fact that the power of jiu-jitsu is an amazing thing. Like, I can roll with pretty much anyone and really quickly and easily recognize what belt they are and not have, I mean, even if they blow through me, even if they're super good, like, I'll be able to tell based upon their timing and their usage of techniques and the way they do things, if they're a brown belt, purple belt, black belt. I'm pretty sure that Andre Galval can do the same thing. Yes, the rules are you're supposed to be 18 before you get your purple belt, I think it is, and then you're supposed to be 20 before you get your black belt, or 21 before you get your black belt. I can't really remember exactly what it is. But again, I ain't telling Andre Galval he's wrong. If Andre Galval says they deserve a brown belt based upon their record, based upon the way they're competing, based upon their accomplishments, who's to say those guys don't deserve a brown belt?